I'll call the meeting to order. Any attendance we've already taken care of. Need public participation.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Seeing none.
The ghost of it.
Okay, so we're here primarily for the reserve fund transfer review. And Liz or Kevin gonna kind of run down it?
Yeah, I will run down.
Kevin, thank you.
Set.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The first one is for the inspectional services of the building department. $18,000. We had a fireman, longtime employee that had buyback of sick and vacation time. Looking for $18,000 there. So I'm gonna just keep going down the list and then take questions at the end, if there are any.
I think so. Just pause. If somebody has a question, speak up after each subject, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
The second one was town council expense, $32,000 for advertising. We had two items, during the fiscal year. The MBTA back in November, that article was quite lengthy. So to publish that,
Oh, yeah.
and then in May, we had several items, articles of planning board that took up quite a bit of space, so looking for $32,000 advertising costs.
Is that primarily the item? Does it get charged elsewhere?
It's the item.
Yeah.
On the MBTA and on other zoning, on the MBTA article, we did publish more than what was required under the statute. However, there was a lot of public outcry, so I made the decision that we were gonna put it all out there, so it's all in the paper, it's all there, and if you remember, it was pages
Oh, yeah.
in the Wakefield item, so. And it
Yeah,
was,
we do have some people that are very diligent, I think, is that the right word, of keeping an eye on things
Yes.
that this town hall does, so.
That's one way to put it.
No, I wouldn't use the word diligent.
and anytime you have a zoning,
Attorneys always have better words.
Yes.
zoning spend, it costs a lot anyway.
Yeah.
So-
I did notice that Milton went ahead and decided to vote in favor.
Yes,
I'm wondering how much they spent
yeah,
versus our $20,000 or
Yeah.
whatever it turned out to be. They spent a lot more than we did.
That's right. Thank you.
Next one is the town clerk salaries, $8,100. This was primarily due to the presidential election. Where there was a lot of early voting, so people come in during the day. They extended that for some nights and for extra polling hours. I do want to point out that we do get reimbursed for the additional polling hours, and that money goes into the general fund. In fiscal 25, we received about $25,000 from the state to cover these additional costs, but we can't put it right directly back into the expense. We have to put it into the general fund and then do a reserve fund to cover those.
So do we need to adjust the budget for this in future presidential elections?
Depending on how you want to handle it, that if we're gonna offer the additional hours in the early voting, we may want to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
Well, it's gonna be refunded anyway. It's just gonna be.
It's in one pocket and out the other, so.
But you know me, I'd like to have everything lined up with
Yeah.
what you're actually gonna spend.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
One item is election expense, $22,200. Two items here. We have the extra election that we just had on the 24th. That's included in this for $16,000. And then again, the presidential election, $6,200. Again, that was covered by the money that came in from the state.
Kevin, do we have a cost per vote on the recent election?
About $10. The vote count was a lot higher than I thought that.
Yeah, what'd you say, Steve? 8%?
8%, yeah, about 1,500 people voted.
Yeah, a little over 15, yeah.
Sorry, in the previous one is the town clerk's office.
Town clerks, and this one is the election expense budget.
Okay, and those are whom? Are those, not volunteers? What I'm trying to say is
Poll work is,
poll workers.
And staff.
and staff, and to program the voting machines, so everything is counted correctly.
And again, the clerk and the election expense are really the clerk's office itself. Those are the people involved.
Salaries.
Or no?
For the clerk's office, it would be the two staff in the clerk's office. For election expense, this is mainly the poll workers.
Okay.
Where does the police come in?
That would come in under election expense.
Police and fire
That would
details as well.
be
Yeah.
covered
And,
in that
and
60.
DPW overtime to break down the.
Yep, that comes out of election expenses.
We saved on the air conditioning.
If you don't have air conditioning. Yeah. I don't know who built that school, but they didn't.
They let us know too.
Save somewhere.
Somewhere.
Next one is general insurance, $40,000. I don't know if you recall, when John Spinello was in, he spoke on this. This has to do with the rail trail. The MBTA required the town to purchase a 5-year pollution liability and some excess liability coverage to use that right away. One-time expense, it's good for 5 years. That was for general insurance. The sixth item, the vocational school budget, $38,000. We don't know how many students are going to the Northeast, Essex North, I'm sorry. How many students will be going there? We budgeted one additional student there. We ended up with 3. So this 38,000 will cover that 2 additional students. I was going based on the,
Amounts?
no, the agenda.
Oh, okay.
So, item 7, workers' comp. Again, John Spinello spoke on this when he was here. $10,000. When John does the budget in February with town council and finance committee, it's all an estimate at that point. The rates came in a little bit higher and the claims came in a little bit higher, so we need $10,000 for workers' comp. Item 8, Medicare, $10,000. This is basically cover the supplemental appropriation we had to do for the fire department at the May town meeting. And the last item, I believe, is the DPW expense. Spoke on this also, $75,000. This is for site cleanup over at Butler Ave. There were some expenses that we needed to pay right away. And again, at the May town meeting, we did authorize to borrow 1.3 million to finish that cleanup. So in total, $253,300.
And obviously, we don't have the fire department in here. Is this amount relatively consistent? I didn't look. I wanted to look back the last few years. But we've had the fire department overage in the last few years as well, so.
Right, that usually that was covered with the reserve fund, the supplemental appropriation that we did at
Right.
the town meeting, 625,000 for salaries, 25,000 for expense. And that will be enough to cover those 2 items.
You remember what last year's was? Sorry, I didn't look it up, but
I want to say it was maybe 350,000 thereabouts that we had to do for a supplemental appropriation.
I think you're right.
Okay.
A little cheaper this year.
any comments?
Any of these charges recurring, like the general insurance, the rail trail?
General insurance, that additional coverage is good for 5 years and it was a one-time charge.
We won't need to do that again in another 5 years.
Butler Ave, we won't have to do again. Elections, you don't know.
2030 budget, we might have to do that.
Okay, 28, right? No other comments? Okay,
Move the sum of $253,300 for the purposes of the reserve fund transfer.
any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion before you?
You need to do a roll call.
Roll call,
Right, because you can.
right?
No, just want to make sure.
Amy?
Aye.
Thank you. Don?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Dan?
Aye.
Jim? Yes. Stefan?
Yes.
Yes.
Tarek?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Unanimous. All right, the only other item on the agenda was the approval of the minutes, full meeting minutes of April 17th, 2025.
Move approval.
Second.
Brian, any discussion on the minutes? The only thing I would say is the vote sheet was in Govenda, and Steve mentioned, I think, because it was referenced or tied to the minutes, these minutes, correct, Steve?
Correct. Yeah.
So it's just put in Govenda for that purpose so that we covered it from end to end. Any further discussion? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Any comments?
I was approving the meeting minutes. Everybody did everybody vote in favor of the meeting minutes?
Yeah, we already did. Okay, you didn't?
Sorry.
Right.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Good, we're good? All right, committee comments. Thank you.
Forecast. Steve, what's going on with? Or Ed, in the budget, I saw some more noise about additional 1.3 billion. Yeah, how much of that might be coming our way?
From the state,
Yeah,
I haven't heard of any great shakes.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
I think it will be going to, I think we'll help out with circuit breaker, which we kind of assumed it would anyway.
Right.
If you look at the breakdown on that, a lot more went to transportation
Yeah.
than went to education, which doesn't necessarily help us.
What about the local roads, bridges, et cetera? There was a
Yeah,
half a paragraph or something about that.
We may get a little bit more in chapter 90, which would be great, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
There were some local bridges that could have been applied for. That was more of a grant program. We didn't have anything that we needed to have done or have any great bridges, so. I don't see any great shakes coming in.
And you didn't seem very optimistic either.
Oh, no, I don't know. Maybe a little bit more chapter 90 money, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
and I guess Kevin, local receipts are still looking good.
Very good, yes. But let's recast and end up asking that one.
Very good.
Be 1.3 above estimate, in my opinion.
Looking at free cash probably in the $12 million range. I think we're 11.6 certified last year. We're looking probably around the 12 million this year.
You're making me look bad. And I like it.
In the best way possible.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else, Dan? Any other committee comments?
Oh, any idea on returns of funds, unused funds back to the general budget?
We're sending back 146,700.
Right now, I'm estimating probably just under $1 million. That health insurance was decent this year. I think it's gonna be just over 400,000 from the group insurance budget. The reserve fund.
Yep.
The veterans benefits is still down, so the benefits that we're paying out.
Right.
So it leaves a little bit more in that budget. So those are the big three right now.
Yeah, I haven't talked to the schools in a little while. You haven't heard anything from them. Have you heard anything from them at all about possible returns?
Record amount.
I have not.
Yeah,
I know, I did talk to Christine and they were finalizing some numbers.
Yep.
They did vote to cover the benefit costs for the school lunch.
But-
So I was able to do that transfer today. Those costs over to the school lunch program. That was about $220,000. That will help out the returns from the general fund budgets because we didn't have those budgeted in fiscal 25, but we do have them funded in fiscal 26 in the budgets.
Right.
So.
Good news.
uh,
That's greater than what I've got in my spreadsheet, the $1 million. I think I got a $500,000.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
all right. Steve's final meeting with us.
Can I just jump in? We did impart all of that to the S&P. We had our surveillance call
Good.
last week. We should hear tomorrow on that. I think that we painted ourselves in the best light that we could. The conversation did not start off well with S&P saying, well, you're borrowing a lot of money, you guys do a great job, but you're just not where we think you should be for, AAA bond rating. You should have 15% in reserves. Your discount rate is too high on your OPEB and on your retirement. But as the conversation kept going and we talked about how we had listened to them, that we had really moved the needle to, 15% in reserves. It got much more positive. Then discussion went towards, well, we might not be able to move the negative outlook. Take the negative outlook. I said to myself, I want to keep the AAA. So we'll know. I mean, we basically did another great job by Kevin and the departments and everything. So we'll see. We're still borrowing 100 million, and your credit score goes down, as you all know, when you're borrowing. So we'll see. Yeah.
Steve, what do you think the rate's gonna,
The
100 million, what do you think it's?
The rate,
The bond.
that we'll get.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual interest rate.
Yeah,
Oh. I'm gonna say between 4 and 4.25. What do you think?
we got it at 3.9.
Oh, okay.
AAA, that was 2 months ago.
All right. So you think might be lower?
How many bidders?
Oh, we had 10. We had,
10
we
then?
had, we had some good bidders, yeah.
I did point out that we were much better funded in our pension obligation than some of it was.
Well, this business with the discount rate is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
When
I had Sherman's voice in my ear.
And I talked.
Tell them
about
this
that
is
before.
ridiculous.
we're also go better off in OPEB too.
I know you.
Actually, I did make that point. I said, when you look at our entire picture about our reserves and how we funded ahead of the curve on, both OPEB and retirement, it paints a really good picture of our town.
I mean, one of the questions I'd throw back at him is, give me another community out there that does have 15% reserves. I mean, you guys throw that number out there, but is anybody there?
Well, there are some that do. Burlington has a boatload of free cash.
Really?
Yeah. No, there's
But the few and far between.
the few and far. It's not like who I would compare us to. But we'll see. I mean, I thought that, well, I don't know, what did you, Liz and Kevin were there too.
I always look at it as a toss up. But when he came out with the statement about, financially, things look great. Financials look great and they get better from year to year. And if we were in AAA last year and you did better financially.
Right.
You would think you're gonna keep that AAA rating, so.
Unless they move the goal.
Right.
Exactly, but then the person said, oh. Yes, we do agree with that, but you're still borrowing $200 million.
Yeah,
right.
And that has some effect on your overall rating.
Is there a better way to do this?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, anybody else? All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the years. I've only been here a few years. Some people have been here a very long time. Appreciate your professionalism, appreciate your willingness to allow us to argue and be willing to listen most of the time. And always had a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
I have had a great amount of fun with this over the years. And I said the other night, and I'll say it because I don't care anymore, it was a lot more fun when they weren't recorded. We had a lot more fun. But when I go back to really the foresight of the finance committee, and when we moved to the GIC, I don't know, 2009, 2000, whenever it was, 2010 maybe, there was a lot of pressure on the finance committee, and we took it here too. You're saving this money on insurance, let's put it into recurring costs. There was a lot of pressure to that, but I don't know, we had a passion for OPEB for some reason. I don't know why. We did. But you know, the finance committee had the foresight and the guts to make that call. And I think that, you know, the Board of Selectmen at the time certainly bought into it. School committee bought into it. And I think because of that, we're able to do other things today. We're able to, you know, work with them. So really, been a great experience for me, working with all of you and, you know, of course, Kevin and now Liz. So I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. You. Anybody else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All those in favor? Very good.
It's unanimous, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, this is the last time I'm doing.
I was gonna say.
Come back and do it.
Someone else